All right, well, welcome back to Exhaust Sports Auto. My name is Kevin, and we are here to check out a 2017 Jaguar F-Type S. So, who do we have to thank for this little opportunity? It is none other than Cabriolet Motors in Raleigh, Morrisville, North Carolina. So, all their information is going to be down in the description box below. They are a premier auto center, I suppose. You know, plenty of exotic automobiles. Ferraris, things of that nature. And if you want to check them out, you may definitely do so. Exotic Car Club, that's all theirs, and you can sell your car under consignment as well. So I'll leave all that below, and if you mention my name, you get about a little discount as well. So I don't get anything out of it, it's just for you to take advantage of. So with that established, let's just get this bad boy out on the road because, well, the F-Type, I'm here to do this because this is actually one of my most favorite vehicles ever made. Actually, I think that this is probably one of the best used sports cars that you can possibly own. With a warranty, I would definitely suggest you getting a warranty on something like this. But regardless, as a driving experience, this is up there. After the LC 500, I think this is going to be my next pick, honestly. Let's start off with the look. So I actually do like the way that this car looks, especially up close. I think that's when it really comes to life. Otherwise, it's a little bit more on the smaller side. It's only about 176 inches long total, so there is that. I guess before the looks, that is quite a sharp little tone that this little motor makes. But anyway, yeah, it's on the smaller side, about 176 inches long, but it's still a good looking car, and I appreciate that. I just like slightly larger cars, that's all. Sorry, I just keep getting distracted there, I apologize. But this is the coupe as well, and I appreciate the coupe a lot more than the convertible, primarily because you also get a lot more storage space in the rear, so that's another advantage. But anyway, you can decide for yourself how this thing looks. It's been out for a long time now, 6-7 years. I think it's aged extremely well. I actually think it looks better than the new one that just came out. But on to more pressing matters like this drive. Man, this thing is, it's like a European muscle car. It's such a brutish vehicle. However, it's not the V8, of course. This is the S model, so it is actually a V6, but it makes about 380 horsepower. And I forgot the amount of torque. I'll put that up in the screen. But dude, I've driven a base model version of this, and it was a convertible. I absolutely loved driving that thing. I would definitely choose this over any of the Vets or 911s and things of that nature, because nobody does fun better than Jaguar does. I mean, it reminds me a lot of Dodge, actually, because Dodge and Jaguar, man, they do fun like nobody else, and I appreciate that. Let's see here, test out some more of that handling here as well. The crackles and pops, I get it, it's engineered, it's not like completely natural, but dude, that's fun for sure. Let's see here, it's got double wishbones, all four corners, so that is excellent. I really do appreciate that. It's helping more so with the handling and not so much with the ride. The ride is a little bit more on the firm side. It's totally acceptable and tolerable. It rides about as similar as a BMW M3 or something along those lines. So it's definitely tolerable. I'm just saying. Every time you come off the throttle, you always get like those pops and crackles, which I think is amazing. Not too many cars. I think you had to go up to like an AMG for it to crackle and pop like that. But yeah, great turn in. That's not an issue. We've got a couple of modes here to play with. You know, put this in the sport mode, obviously, or the dynamic mode, as Jaguar wants to call it. You know, always with the bougie little naming structures and all that. So, but dynamic mode, that should open up the valves further, so it should be extremely loud. And the transmission, I mean, it's 8-speed ZF. It responds beautifully. So, well, let's just pin it down, launch it, see what it does. That's fantastic. That is a glorious thing to listen to. And this 8-speed, man, the paddles are not the best feeling paddles in the world, but man, they react extremely well, even in the normal mode. Yeah, that's incredible. Love that. And I have not driven a V8 version of this. Obviously, there is a V8 version. That's what I'm saying. This car can get very nutty if you wanted to. And I don't think the V8 is necessary. I think this is more than enough fun for the street. It's 380 horsepower, especially in something like this that weighs about 3,500 pounds. Or I guess more so 3,700 pounds, because this is actually the all-wheel drive. So that's another thing. It's very versatile. You get this thing with all-wheel drive. It's a good little year-rounder. Also, the V6s came with a manual. Good luck finding that, even in the used market. Hey, at least it came with the manual. Obviously, they don't make it anymore for the new F-Type, so there is that. Honestly, in a car like this, I totally am fine with this 8-speed. It's a great, nice little gentleman's cruiser type car. So an automatic, especially a ZF like this, which is so good, I don't mind it one bit. But yeah, 550, 575 horsepower, when you're damn near pushing 600 horses in something like this, I just don't think it's necessary for street driving. This, I think you could be still kind of foot to the floor and still really enjoy this car. You can drive it hard and aggressive out on the road, and that's what makes this thing so much fun. And why? Obviously the LC500, that's naturally aspirated V8. You're never gonna get that anywhere else. I still think that's one of the best sounding, very natural, just a nice mechanical sounding thing. This is great in an engineered exhaust crackle pop type of way, and I love it, dude. It's so much fun. There's even though it's all-wheel drive, it has this slippery nature to it, similar to a C6 Corvette. C7, C8 Corvettes, they're just too pinned down and just too easy to drive almost, and it's just not as fun. 911s and stuff like that, I appreciate them, but they're a little bit of a serious type of car, if that makes sense. I think this is just great out on the road. And a nice old lady here, she just smiled at me. That's nice. I guess that's why you buy it, right? It's a Jaguar, not a Lexus. Plenty of prestige to go along with that, right? This annihilates the Maseratis and all that. And this will easily, effortlessly get up to speed, dude. This thing is rocking some Michelin Pilot 4S tires, and it's got plenty of grip, no doubt, but I'm just saying that this chassis, everything about the driving experience has that slippery nature to it, like the C6. It's never going to go out of control, obviously, but it just has that fun factor to it that I love. Now, I will say it's not the easiest car to get used to and drive. I mean, the rear windshield, it's such a weird and awkward shape. So it's just different, but you can get used to it. It's not a huge car, so placing it is actually pretty easy, but it does feel larger than it is to drive. So I don't know, some might like that, some may not, but I just so much fun, dude. I love this thing. There's only a slight bit of wind noise, nothing unacceptable or anything like that. And tire noise isn't ridiculous despite it being summer tires. These summer tires are usually pretty loud. It's definitely acceptable, and the ride quality is definitely acceptable as well. Steering is the perfect weight to it. There's a tad bit of body roll. It's not as, it has more of a BMW feel to it, except nothing about it is unnatural. Everything is just perfectly weighted. Love it. This is far more fun than any BMW is, that's for sure. I have driven the base model V6, and that's more than enough as well. I really appreciated that too. Except this S is just the perfect one, I feel for the looks and power, all that good stuff. And because it's not a V8, it has more of a sharp kind of note to the V6 that I really like, actually. So yeah, very nice, aggressive, just, you know what I'm saying? You really want to push it and drive it type of thing. Yeah, if in the used market, this is definitely a no-brainer choice for me. About in the 40s range is kind of what these things are going for. Yeah, this is just way too much fun to pass up. This is a bargain for the price. Actually, I would pretty much pick this over any of the M cars or the Porsches or anything like that. It's just so great. And if you can find a manual, great. But honestly, I'm cool with this automatic. This is a pretty nice example. It's about 41,000 miles. But here's the thing. This is kind of where it differs from the LC500. I still prefer the LC500. Even as a driving utensil, it's still a lot more fun than this, primarily because this is a V6. I get you can move up to the V8s, but still, that's going to be a gas guzzler. This, with the V6 and automatic, it's 19 city, 27 highway. That is very good MPG figures for something like this. So you can definitely enjoy that. Also, this interior space, right? The material choices are actually pretty good. It's carbon fiber, some suedes, leathers. I actually do appreciate that. However, it's a little bit more creaky and crunchy. This is not going to be the pinnacle of quality, if you will, as far as interior spaces goes. But even this carbon fiber, I actually don't think it's real. I mean, I'd be shocked if it was real, actually. I think it is supposed to be real, but I mean, it totally does not feel that way. That's the only thing. Some of the interior components are a little bit more gimmicky, but as a whole, the vehicle feels solid. Like the door panel, the leathers, all that, the stitching, that's great. You know, it's just certain components here and there, that's all. But otherwise, as a whole, this is a great place to spend time. It's actually a similar layout to the Vets, even the LC, stuff like that. It's just that the way it's put together, you know, it's typical Jaguar, and I do notice a bit of a creaking and rattling going on with the passenger side door, so that's one thing I noticed. But otherwise, it's actually nothing I can't tolerate with something like this. For the price, for the mileage, totally appropriate, and under warranty, you know, enjoy it, because there's a lot of nice creature comforts and a lot of nice niceties going on here. So let's talk about it. I love this steering wheel. It's got a nice old flat bottom thing going on. It's actually pretty easy to get in and out of. It's not too ridiculous, and I think it's easier to get in and out of than a Corvette, so that's pretty nice. Meridian sound system. That sounds great, nice, crystal clear. Really appreciate that. Got the memory seats. You got the seat controls. It's got plenty of adjustment. You know, I am 5'11", but you know, I think you can be a little bit taller and still be able to fit in here, so that should not be an issue. So one touch up and down windows for both the windows, so that's great. You got some blind spot monitoring, which is nice, I suppose. It's not double pane glass, mind you. It's just a regular glass. I feel like if they use a double pane glass, some of that wind noise could have been reduced, but whatever, they didn't do that. I really don't care, honestly. You got the automatic headlights, all that good stuff. Gauge cluster, stupid simple to read. It's got 190 on the dash, so that's nice. I don't even care what the 0 to 60 is. I'm assuming it's about 4.5 seconds, especially for this S model. It doesn't feel like a complete rocket. It's just like the sounds it makes, the exhilaration you have, like the way the chassis feels. I think that's what makes it fun, and I really appreciate that. Tachometer, you know, revs out to about 6,500 RPM. You know, that supercharged V6. This infotainment, actually, I don't mind this at all. It's very easy to use, and also you can actually turn it on and off with one button here, and it's pretty damn quick to respond as well. So I really appreciate this system. Got your good old backup cameras and stuff like that, which you kind of need in this vehicle, actually, because there's not much to see out of in the rear view, and there's a bit of a blind spot being made from the B pillar, I guess you want to call that. There's just a few things like that you got to get used to. Obviously, there's no rear seats in this thing. It's too small for that, and you do have the navigation and all that, so you can use it. But I don't believe there's any Apple CarPlay, Android Auto in this generation because it's a 2017. Got the push button stop start. Climate control. This is the best climate control ever. I wish more manufacturers would adopt something like this, because you got the temperature, which you kind of control with a little digital display, and you have like this little knob that goes around it. It actually feels of quality. It's the best feeling thing in this interior, actually. Fan speed, separated controls, love that. And you got these buttons down here as well. It's almost like a toggle switch that you get in a Mustang, except they feel absolutely fantastic to use. This electronic gear lever, very easy, up, down for a reverse driving. You can shift it over for the manual setting as well. Press P to park, and you got the electronic parking brake. It has the auto stop start, which you can defeat, and you have the little exhaust button here to make it louder. Not much space going on in the center armrest, but you do have 2 USBs and auxiliary and aux as well, so there's that. You have more space in the glove box, so that's good, but overall, I mean, you don't really buy this for practicality, but hey, it's at least a lot more practical than the LC500 is. At least you have, you know, space to put a few things, like 2 proper drinks, all that. Still no sunglass holder, and still nowhere to really put your phone, I guess, so it's not super practical. Well, there's this little bin right here, so you do have that. But the trunk is so practical. It's a hatchback, much like a C7 Corvette, so you can really put whatever you want back there. I can pretty much assure you can fit a pair of golf clubs in there, so that's pretty good. But yeah, as a whole, I mean, screw all that. I mean, this driving, this is where it's at. I mean, you buy this, you can whip this around. It sounds so aggressive, and it's just such a nutty little car, but because it's not the V8, it's not too ridiculous. You can handle this, especially with the all-wheel drive. So much fun. I guarantee you're going to love this. It's really my choice for like the gentleman sports coupe type vehicle. It's really great, man. So if you can budget for that, this is a great vehicle. If you're an owner of this thing, please do let me know how it's held up for you. We would all be very curious to hear about that. But my suggestion is still to get a warranty with this. You know, this is a very nice model, of course, you know, 41,000 miles, you know, well priced, all that good stuff. But again, try to find a warranty, and yes, you can take advantage of a discount here as well at Cabriolet Motors. So all their information is going to be down in the description box below. Also, shout out to the gentleman who bought that Acura RLX from this dealership, because they watched my review. I do appreciate that. So thank you again for watching. Take care, and goodbye.